before you hit it big, that you backed up Chuck Berry.
Oh, I played with so many people. Chuck was coming out of retirement, and they were bringing him to the Fillmore Auditorium. And Bill Graham came to me and said, "Steve, you know, you're the only guy. We want your band to back up Chuck Berry." And I said, "Yeah, oh God, okay, but Chuck Berry has to come out and rehearse." I said, "If he'll do 2 days of rehearsal, I'll do the show with him." And Chuck said, "Yep." And he came out, and we hung out together for 2 days. We rehearsed everything he does. And we did, it got so good that Mercury Records immediately said, "Oh, this is great. We got to make a live album." So we negotiated a deal on the night of the first show where we agreed to do the Chuck Berry Live at the Fillmore with the Steve Miller Band album for $1, because he was Chuck Berry and we loved him so much. I was such a Johnny Johnson and Chuck Berry fan. I just loved all of his stuff. And we did this album with him. And that was our first record out of San Francisco, was backing up Chuck Berry.
When did you crack through to megastardom?
Well, never, I don't think, but when I got my first hit single, I'd come close a couple of times. I had a tune called Living in the USA that sold about 150,000 real quick as a single, and that was exciting. Then it went away. And then a year later in Philadelphia, it sold 100,000 and almost, but it went away. I was at the end of the line, album number 7 of that 7-year deal, you know, where they had you for 7 years. And I went, well, I'm just going to go down there and just do my last album. I thought I was finished. I was so tired of arguing with these guys. We would go out and play. We'd go out and do 100 cities, and they might have records in 20 of the towns, but 80 of the towns, they wouldn't even have our records in the record stores. And so we were always at war with Capitol Records. Every band goes through this, you know. And when we were talking about Capitol Records, and I thought I was going to have all these resources, what I really ended up in was like this pool of like 200 artists who were all fighting for the same resources. Right. And there were just so much to go around, and we were way down on that list. You know, we didn't have professional management. So.
But now you're nearing your 7-year end of contract.
Yep.
And you're down to your last album.
So I go to LA and I cut 15 tracks in 2 days. And then I start singing the songs and overdubbing stuff, and I'm producing now. I finished the record. The Joker was on that, and I think, you know, the Joker was just a song I wrote, and I didn't think it was a hit single or anything. And they would treat you like this. You'd deliver an album, and, you know, your executive producer would come in, and, you know, a vice president or the president of the company may come in, and they'd like play 10 seconds of each song, you know, like a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and the guy go, "Hey, that's great, kid, see ya," out the door, you know. Well, this one they sat around and listened, and some kid said, "Hey, I think that Joker's a hit single," you know. And I said, "Listen, pal, I don't care about hit singles anymore. I'm going out, here's the list, here's the 60 cities I'm gonna go do in the next 75 days, right. And I want you to have albums in the stores where I'm playing. Got it?" And left in kind of a huff. I was pretty much, this was my last record. I thought my career was over. I thought this was pretty much it. And we started the tour in Florida, and it just worked everywhere. And by the time we got back to San Francisco, Dan, this was the moment. I was driving to the Fox Theater in Oakland to play to 2,200 people. We were playing vaudeville theaters. And I was listening to the radio, and the Joker was on 4 of the 5 radio stations at the same time, and I was upset because it wasn't on all 5.
I'm a joker, I'm a smoker, I'm a midnight toker. I get my loving on the run. Ooh.
And the Joker was the first album that I produced myself, and it went platinum. Right. And then Fly Like an Eagle was, I don't know, 5-6 times platinum now, you know. And Book of Dreams, I think we sold 13 million records in a couple of years.